So, hi, Michelle. So I see Michelle, I see Dick, Gary, and Tamika. Who's the guest?
That must be me, Mike. I didn't know I was a guest, but let me unfix that.
Oh, got me now too. Okay.
I'll rename. Oh, yep.
Yeah, it's all right. As long as all right. Jim and I have a little personal thing going on here. Jim, I want to see both your hands. Okay. All right.
What about this one?
Okay. Now he's telling the truth.
Hey, Jim, I don't see snow. What's going on?
I'm not gonna see snow.
How's the weather
Oh,
down
I'll
there,
tell you
Jim?
this right out.
Okay, so I think we have everybody here. Paul Jolly can't make it. He's without power. So is that got everybody else? Dick, Jim, Tim. Yeah, okay, everybody else is here. So let's open the meeting and this is being recorded, so we don't have to take minutes. So we'll open the meeting, and I apologize for the delay. I've never run one of these, so I didn't know I had to add the participants. So let's open the meeting at 5:40. Let's do the good news first. Let's review the minutes of October 3rd. Has everybody looked at them, and does anybody have any issues with them?
I make a motion to accept October 3rd.
I'll second.
Oh, go ahead.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Dick Williams, aye.
Go.
Van Reed, aye.
Jim Susi, aye.
Tim Norwald, aye.
Sullivan, aye. Unanimous. Okay, let's get to the meeting of October 28th. Anybody have any issues with those minutes?
Make a motion to accept the minutes of October 28th.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Dick Williams, aye.
Van Reed, aye.
Susi, aye.
Norwald, aye.
Sullivan, aye. Okay. Now let's get to the meat of the matter. I've done the best I could to keep you guys informed of the progress, lack thereof, and all that kind of stuff that's gone on. I have a string. I think the last time I looked, since the 1st of January, I think it was 17, but overall, I think it's 57 emails on this, trying to resolve this Harmony, whatever it is. I can't think of the name of it. Harbor Classic Homes, but Harmony Place, I guess it is. So I had fully hoped to be able to, in person, pop this bottle and have a hell of a celebration. Unfortunately, we can't do that. First of all, because we're not together. But secondly, let me just read you something. Just bear with me 1 second. Well, here's the important one. I got it today. Hi, Mike. You ready? The closing is scheduled for January 31st. So what I'm telling you is they have scheduled and agreed to a closing on the property on the 31st. The thing I'm most worried about is I've asked a couple of times for a specific time, location, and so on, and I haven't got that yet. So given all that's gone on over the last number of months, I probably shouldn't be nervous about it. Sharon says it's a done deal. Campobasso has signed in, said it's a done deal. And the bank's attorney has all in writing agreed to that as well. Sorry, that's Dick calling me. Hang on. Yes, Dick. Oh, okay. All right, Dick asked me to talk to him through the phone. So have you heard what I just said, Dick?
The lights just went out and come back on, but no computer.
Okay, so did you hear me say that we have a closing date of next Monday, the 31st?
Hot diggity dog.
But I shared with the committee, you know, I kind of feel like a ping pong ball that gets whacked around both sides of the net on a daily basis. I would feel a lot better if I had a closing date of the 31st at 10 a.m. at someone's office, and I don't have that yet. I've asked for it and I still don't have it, and maybe I shouldn't be nervous about it, but I guess I'm just nervous about it because of the 57-page email string I have to get to where we are today. So that's the good news. It'll be better news as of hopefully next Monday. So I guess anybody got any thoughts, comments?
To the chair, Mike, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You don't need that through the chair stuff, whoever that is. That's Tim?
Well, that's you, because you said you felt like a ping pong ball. If you grew some more hair on top of your head, maybe you wouldn't be a ping pong ball. But that being said, I know you've kept me in the loop in this. We've discussed this many times, and I thank you for that. Finally, glad that this has come to fruition. So I guess my only question is, because I don't know where the committee is, if we're okay with the penalty clause, if we're okay with the egress, we're okay with the water line, just stuff that you and I have talked about.
Yeah.
You don't, in other words, so you don't anticipate any additional problems arising out of this, correct?
No, what I anticipate is, well, not only what I anticipate, what Sharon has said is, look, you guys have established, the conditions of approval back during, the HPDD review board. Whatever is on that thing in writing is what the agreement is. Anything outside of that is not part of the agreement. So no, I don't anticipate any water line issues. I don't anticipate any questions. I mean, they may come back and want some things, but legally, let me start that over again. I expect on Monday to sign the closing with the closing documents that we've agreed to. And what you're really, Gary, the only negotiating that has gone on that the committee isn't intimately aware of, but in general they are, is the negotiations over guaranteed building permits per year and startup time and all that. There was a whole bunch of negotiation went on there. We came to an agreement on those that I don't think are really, I mean, anybody can ask me any questions they want, but I don't think it's really germane to the closing at this point.
Okay, very good. Thank you, sir. One more question through the chair. I know you like that.
I'm gonna chair.
I know that. So you plan, and I'm sure that's going to go through on the 31st. Great news. Thank you very much. Have they offered to you any idea of when they project the first shovel will go on the ground? Are they going to wait till the spring season?
Oh, I don't think there's any way they'll, well, particularly now with the weather, but I don't think there's any chance of them starting before, May 1st, let's say, whatever.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much, sir. That's all I have.
Michelle's raising her hand. You kidding me?
Well, I just want to make sure that
That's the teacher
Gary's
in you,
done.
huh, Michelle?
Yeah. I'm just curious, the last time we met, or one of the last times we met, we had talked about possibly doing some tree work to get the proceeds from that, but I'm not sure where that stands in all of this.
That has not moved, Mike, at the moment.
What Dick just said is has not moved yet, Mike, at the moment. So that's still kind of an open issue, I guess, Michelle. And I must confess to you, with all that's gone on since the July closing, it ain't even been on my radar screen, to tell you the truth. That, once the closing happens, perhaps it's time to bring it up again and see what we can do. But Dick, if I remember right, didn't we agree that you were going to talk to, a forester and get him up there? And I I think I gave you the name of another forester. But anyway, isn't that kind of where we left it in your court to have them go look at it?
Correct, and I believe he did, and he was gonna get back to me.
Can you guys hear Dick?
Just barely.
I'm not on the computer, I'm only on the phone.
That's okay. I'm holding the phone up to my speaker.
Okay, well, anyways, the gentleman's been tied up, and he's not the only one that's been tied up, so.
Okay. All right. No, not looking to, point fingers or anything. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page. So Michelle, good point. All I can tell you is let's get this thing signed, get money in hand, and then let's deal with it.
Oh, I 1000% agree. I was just curious.
Yeah, no.
Even if it doesn't happen, that's fine.
Yep, I agree. Anybody else, any other thoughts?
The question for you and also the group, how much money does the town owe to pay this off, to pay off the heights?
Dick, I couldn't give you an exact number, but I think it's like $230,000. That's a wild guess at this point. Gary, can you answer that?
I was gonna say 223, again, but I'd have to double check.
Okay, that's close enough. Gee, my 230 was pretty good.
Yeah. You're good for an old fart.
We're being recorded,
Oh, sorry. I've done worse.
I tell you, if they turned it down because of what the state did, I would think the town of Rutland would have sued the state for pulling that stunt.
You lost me on that, Dick.
I would have sued the state. The town of Rutland should sue the state if Harper Classic Homes turned it down because of the whole property being zoned 21E or whatever it is there.
Well, yeah.
Really,
Dick, in all honesty, there was a lot more to this delay than that.
okay.
That was part of it for sure, but I probably have to admit that I'm the one that pushed for the penalty phase, and I still think it was the right thing to do, and I think it protects the town to the best of our ability. But that was the biggest hurdle to get over, and it just seemed as though every time we got somewhere, one of the attorneys would bring up another what if. So, I mean, at one point, Sharon asked me, she said, Mike, I think it's time to let this go. It's just time to let it go. And I said, no, I'm paraphrasing now. I'm not letting it go because we agreed to what in my mind was a somewhat reduced number on the sale price because that was in there, because it guaranteed, not that it guaranteed the town the penalty money, because I hope we don't see any penalty money, because that'll mean they've built all the units in the time that, that is set up. But the real issue to me is the recurring tax revenue that the town gets out of the units being built. That's where the town's interest needed to be protected. So that was why I took a very hard line, and honestly, at times, I wondered whether it was the right thing to do. In the end, I'm glad we did it. What ultimately ended up happening in the short answer is the bank put their foot down and said, look, we're not gonna allow this to go through the way it is, because if Harbor Classic Homes, what is the name of it? Harmony Place? I got to learn it. It doesn't matter. If they go bankrupt and the bank has to take the property back, they didn't want to have that encumbrance on the property, so that when they went to sell it, the new guy is going to come in and say, well, wait a minute, I'm not interested in that. So ultimately what I was able to negotiate, or we were able to negotiate, with the owner of Harmony Place personally guaranteed himself. He personally guaranteed the penalty phase. So what's the worry there? If he goes out of business too. But like I said, I just don't see someone spending the kind of money they're spending here, the kind of money they've already invested, and very quickly this summer, the kind of money they'll be putting to move dirt if they don't think they have a viable project.
Sounds good to me.
So Mike, I have a question on that. So is he bound to the bank to make the promise or to us to make that promise?
No, that
If they
promise
go
was
on-
made to us. The personal guarantee was made to the town.
But what happens if he goes under and the bank gets it back? Then we're still on the hook for, we don't get that revenue?
We don't get the penalty phase.
Got it.
So that means the business went out of the business went bankrupt and he personally went bankrupt. I think that's rather.
Okay. Yep.
Jim, you got any thoughts on, I'd be curious, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but
I can definitely see where they're coming from. That's doing all that is kind of risky, like having the guarantee that you're going to be able to sell stuff, especially with the economy heading in the direction it's heading. But the guy's going to personally guarantee it. That's the best he can do. If he goes bankrupt, he goes bankrupt.
right. So, anybody else? Tim, you got anything you want to add?
Mike, I didn't see it as a penalty clause. I see it as a motivation to get them houses built clause. So,
Yeah, well, that might be a better way to say it. You're right.
yeah, I don't see it as a penalty because the faster they get them built, the more revenue they're bringing in, and the less they have the potential for a penalty. So, and honestly, I'm with you. I think even with the economy the way it is, that type of housing is going to be more attractive than a single family, 2 acre or 1 acre, 3,000 square foot house or 2,500 square foot house. I think you'll see them. That's my opinion.
Yeah, it's a limited market. That's the problem. But
yeah.
well, see, again, I can't tell you how many hours I've thought about this, but I said to myself, okay, we close this deal and, take whatever the costs in legal and engineering they've already spent is, Jimmy probably would have better idea. It doesn't matter, whatever the number is. But then, one of the first things they're going to do is, they're going to start grading the property, which is significant. And then the second thing they're going to do, I would think, is run the water line from the school into the property, which is a significant investment, which, once that's done, if for some reason or other they did go bankrupt and never built a house, the town would have the benefit of now sold the property and, the cost of that water line, which is significant, would be, a benefit to the town and the property as well.
Mike, they're probably going to start the permitting with the grid to get the electrical in because that takes a while too.
I hope they've already started that.
Yeah.
I won't see it for a year.
Yeah. I know that, Jim, from my standpoint of working with them at Eversource with National Grid. So,
Oh, they're awful. I don't even think you can get transformers are pretty tough to even get right now.
yeah.
But that's their problem.
Okay, so the select board's meeting at 6:00 and they've asked for an update. So that was part of the reason I scheduled this just before that. So if nobody has any other thoughts or comments, I'd like to close this. Well, maybe not close. Let's just adjourn to the select board's meeting just in case you folks want to come. We won't be in trouble for having a quorum. And if there's any discussion that has to happen, we can do it legally. I guess the other thing I'd ask is, let's just assume, God willing, on Monday, I have a document in my hand that says we closed. Would you guys like to have a meeting, shortly thereafter, to officially accept that and so on and so forth?
I'd be interested.
Well, all right, I have a proposal. Let's go on to the assumption it's going to happen on Monday. I will schedule a 5:00 Monday evening meeting that will then, we will vote to continue it across the street to the lounge, and we'll have a celebratory cocktail, and we'll close our meeting there.
That sounds perfect.
Anybody have any heartburn with that?
Mike, before you do that, I think Tuesday's the 31st.
No, I think it's Monday.
No, Tuesday's the 31st.
Yes, you're correct. Tuesday. Okay,
Oh,
sorry.
Tuesday.
Tuesday. I'll schedule it for Tuesday. Yep.
And one final thought, Mike, because I do have the number here.
And drinks are on you too, Gary, by the way.
Take the difference from what I'm gonna tell you. So what you owe now on the note for the Heights is 165K. That's due to be paid off in November, the last payment, one more payment, November of 23.
Okay.
Oh. Thank you, Gary.
You're welcome, sir.
So I'm sure this 1.625 minus whatever it is, $80,000 to the realtor. So that's whatever it is, $1.5 million. I'm sure it's all spent, right?
Pretty close.
Yeah, it's spent on the roads that we need and the salt that we need.
Hey.
Okay. All right. So motion to continue this to the select board's meeting.
And do we need to say we're continuing it, but to end with the select board meeting so we can close it without coming back to regroup?
Sure. Yeah, perfect. You just did that.
Okay.
Second,
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All right. So you now have to go back.